Good morning, everyone. Good morning. That's what I love. Welcome to Coffee with the City of Wildomar. My name is Patrick Ellis, Presidency of the Marietta Wildomar Chamber of Commerce. So glad to see everyone here this morning and have this amazing energy. I want to first start off by thanking Kaiser for providing this great space for us to host this in every month, and then to Dunkin' Donuts for all the phenomenal coffee and donuts that you have here this morning. And without further ado, it is my pleasure to turn it over to the wonderful Mayor of Wildomar, Ashley Gaffordio.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for being here. We're just going to start off with a few updates, and then we'll get to it. We've got, obviously, thank you so much for our Riverside sheriffs who are here to update us today, as well as our code enforcement. Appreciate everyone being here, and we'll let you guys introduce yourself. And then we also have Project View City staff. First of all, we have Mayor Pro Tem Carlos Marquez, Economic Development Director Kimberly Davidson, City Manager Daniel York, Code Enforcement Manager I think we got, let's call him Raul. Raul, say I do know. Baritron. Raul Baritron. All right. And I put my glasses on. We've got Anel. We've got Jeanette. We've got Heidi. Jeanette and Heidi from the City Clerk's Office. And we've got Anel from Parks. I don't want to say Parks and Rec. Community Services. We've got Scott Burns from Building Inspection Department, or just Building? Building Safety. Building Safety, thank you. Title's not so good. We've got John back there from Code. We've got Andy Morris from the Elsinore Valley Municipal Water District. We've got Patrick with the Chamber. Let's see, we've got, I'm going to just go around the room and say everybody's name right now. We've got Derek from CRNR. And we've got Chamber staff. Thanks for being here, Chamber. We've got Jason Farrick, Engineering Department. We've got Matt Bassey from Planning Director. And is this your last call for the city?
No, one more.
One more, okay. Sorry about that. And then, let's see, who am I missing?
You got Dustin Wyatt,
Where's Dustin?
Supervisor. Field
Oh,
Supervisor.
Dustin Wyatt, thanks for being here. And then anyone else?
Emily.
Oh, there's Emily. Thank you. Emily. We got Wildomar Beautification. Oh yes, Paul Leach, Fire Marshal. And all right. We got Emily from HR. All right. I think that's about it. Just a few updates. We've got our next council meeting is tomorrow night. We're going to get a very comprehensive overview of our budget of some capital improvement projects. So any updates you might want for the various road improvements and other types of improvements, you're going to want to tune in for that. That's going to be a lot more than we can say right now. We've also got our Wildomar Engaging Business meeting coming up on the fourth Wednesday of the month, which this month is the 26th, at 3 p.m. at City Hall upstairs in the Santa Rosa room. So if you need any more details on that, please let us know. We'd love to give you more details. And that is just a small focus group for Wildomar businesses, or if you own a business and live in Wildomar, so say you have a business outside of Wildomar but you live in Wildomar, or you have a business in Wildomar, we'd love to have you there. It's a small group talking about things relevant to small business. And sometimes we have some key speakers, some informational type of content. So we'd love to have you there. We have our commercial real estate meetup, so if you're in the commercial business at all, of any kind, commercial realty, developing, investing, insurance, there's all kinds of ways to plug in, maintenance, all kinds of ways to plug into that. And then we have a couple of events coming up. We have March Madness on March 16th, and that is a basketball-related event, so the RSO wants to join. We got the fire department, and maybe I don't know if you've been recruited yet, but maybe we could have a coffee with the city team for the regulars. I don't know. Let's think about this. So putting together some small teams for some basketball fun. And another event in partnership with the city and with Wildomar Beautification and other partners, we have Earth Day. So will somebody remind me the exact date for
April 5th.
April 5th.
That was good.
So April 5th, very good, Will, thank you. Shannon says it was good too. So April 5th, Earth Day, and we'd love to have as many volunteers as possible. Just going to be a great event, going out, getting some stuff cleaned up. Projects will be identified. All you need to do is show up, and we'll have a good time picking up some stuff and beautifying the city.
It will actually be a full event down at the Marno O'Brien Park.
That's right.
So the cleanup is from 8 to 10,
Thank you.
and then we'll have some fun, some food, vendors, and all that stuff at Marno O'Brien.
That's right. So some additional details. Thank you. It'll be a full event from 8 to 10. There will be vendors. There will be food. It'll be a fuller event than it was last year. And just every year, we're going to see this grow and become a better event as we go. So I'm excited to see that and see how it's grown over the past few years. So that's April 5th for that, March 16th for March Madness. And so with that, without further ado, who are we turning it over to first? All right, turning it over to Rolf for an update from Code Enforcement.
Some of you know me, some of you might not. My name is Walter Richron. I'm the Code Enforcement Office Emergency Management Manager. We'll be talking today a little bit on code enforcement, a little bit of emergency management, and some of our homeless activities that we have going on throughout the city. So if we can, have a, sir, go ahead here. Okay, so City of Wildomar, we are in collaboration with the City of Marietta, Project Touch, and CityNet. We share information with the City of Marietta when our homeless, when we do our identifying individuals from throughout our city, so that we share that information. So if we have one homeless individual happen to go over to the city, we can share that same information if he's gotten services or if he doesn't stay in the shelter or all the information, so we're able to collaborate that information. CityNet does all our outreach data. They do all their social services. We'll take them to their appointments if we're trying to set up a driver's license and things of that nature. They'll do all that type of paperwork. And Project Touch, they're actually do all our sheltering. So if we have an individual that needs to be sheltered, we'll get a hold of Project Touch and we'll see if we get them a bed for our sheltering. So this is pretty much our team, what we have, from Marietta, Project Touch, the Sheriff's Department, and also the Sheriff's Department. They are also part of our team. They go out with us. We go out one time a week as a full team, but throughout the whole week, we are still out there. CityNet will come into our city, do their resources, do their follow-ups on their contacts. Sheriffs are out there on patrol as well. So we're constantly here doing our homeless outreach, even if we're not part of the team on that particular day. So just a little bit of stats what we have going on for our homeless since July 24th to January 25th, as you see on the screen here. And this is stats we're taking from our 1 day a week throughout that month. So in July, you can see we have a contact for 5 males, 4 females. August, 5 males, 1 female. September, 7 males, 1 female. October, 7 and 3. November, 7 and 8. December, 8 and 9. And January, 3 males, 1 female. And keep in mind, these are all not null news. Some of them are overlapping. Some are kind of our resident transients that do stick around. Even though we do come in contact with them just about every day or every other day, we still have to document this our contacts we came in with them. some of the places where we do go into our tunnels, we do our flood control canals and throughout our city, and these are kind of the stuff that we do see, throughout the city. They're kind of hidden away and they're hiding from the general public. There you go. And when we do have an encampment, this particular one is off of Palomar and Clinton Keith. We'll go out there. There's certain rules that we have to follow. We'll have to post the property, give them 24 hours to go ahead and remove their items. And at that point, we'll go out there and start removing their items and try to clear it up the best that we can. Once we have their items, we have to hold their items for 30 days. So at that point, we'll stage them at our yard, and if we have no contact after 30 days, we will go ahead and just start moving off. Okay. So when you do see us out there and we're over there looking at it and we call them, go, code enforcement didn't do anything, they were out there. That's all we have to do, we have to post it. So, we are out there even though we didn't do anything, we still see it. We have to give them reports and we have to give them their time to clean up their mess. So when you're out and walking, I do know the people go out there and they walk and hike.
So question, so just so that I'm clear on this, so like if somebody sees a homeless encampment, they call code enforcement, you go out and then you have to post something and give them a chance to move around before you can do it. So even though you went out there, it looks like, hey, they didn't do anything.
Exactly.
Got it, okay.
And usually, sometimes it might take longer because if we go out there and it's new and we didn't know that this person, or we never identified him, we'll wait till that where our full team is together. So you might see a span of a week might be there, depending on the day it falls on.
Right.
Now, if it's somebody that we have come in contact with, we'll go ahead and post it. Get rid of it. So we try to make that contact because he might be wanted. You might be wanted out of Marion. You might be wanted, from another state. So we want to make that contact with that person. So in this case, back to as the gentleman said, if you're out and about, if you do see an encampment, please report it. You can definitely give us a call, give code enforcement a call. We'll document, we'll set it up, we'll get in contact with our set deputies, and we'll go out there and take a look at it. Because a lot of times what will happen, this one was on Clinton Keith and Hidden Trail. We had a fire out there. So they will light fires, they'll stay warm, but they're going to cook their meal. And unfortunately, this one happened to get away from this gentleman, and but we were able to contain it and keep it from spreading. So if you do see something, definitely please give us a call. So in that time, we actually have a point-in-time count, in which we did last month, and throughout the nation, everybody has a point-in-time count that will go out one day, either early morning or at night, so that they can keep some stats, comparing different counties, cities, and what our numbers are, so they can eventually get funding for that particular programs. So in this case, in the city of Wildomar, we consisted of 2 teams. We went out at 5:30 from 9:30. We had 2 teams. Basically, we split up the city from 15 parade. One did west, one did east. So in that particular day, one team came in and contact with 6 homeless people, and the other one came in with 4, with a total count of 10 contacts for us. So a little bit. So anything else on homeless? We'll kind of hit this.
We did a point in count on it just so you guys know like where homeless people normally go, or like how you. It just seems like it's a big city. Like how do you guys find?
Yeah, pretty much when we do all the outreach day in day out, or we kind of have an idea of where they're hiding out or camping, or sleeping and stuff. So kind of the hot spots, we'll go hit them early in the morning. Usually 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock time we roll in and we go out, they're like, we don't want to contact, they're gone. That's why we either do late at night or really early in the morning. So that, hey, you're sitting behind 7-Eleven, we know you're going to be there, you're sleeping in that early morning kind of surprise those people. And we do it during that time. We do a survey with them, and county does provide 30 bags of backpack with blanket, beanies, gloves, toiletries. We'll also provide them with snacks and stuff, so it's kind of a little more enticing to go ahead and answer the questions. Some could be a little bit personal questions, and that kind of, usually those are the high dimes, beanies, gloves, and kind of keep you warm. So once they know that, they're going to like, oh yeah, we'll take your survey, and that kind of entices them to take that survey for us. So a little bit on the Office of Emergency Management. And so we've had our recent power outages and stuff that were going on. So this is kind of what we like to talk about is we got a lot of phone calls in the city calling like, oh my God, the city's turning off the power. What can the city do to turn on the power? Just to let you know, the city has no control. Southern California has that is their deal on turning off the power. And pretty much when they have a weather event or high fire time, is they'll set up their instant command system. They'll take each division of their planning operations. They'll go out, send their guys out in the field, whether it's high winds, brush. They'll do evaluations of all that, send it to their instant commander, and he will make the decision whether to shut off Wildomar's grid, Marietta, Lake Elsinore, and that's when it gets shut off. They determine how long it's going to be until the weather, the winds, and all that can die down, and then we'll turn the switch back on. So they're totally in control of that power outage. So when we do monitor it, we'll get all our SEC, Southern California Edison bulletins. We'll monitor them. We'll enter all the information. We'll send it up to our command staff, the city manager's office. They'll keep them informed. We'll send it over to the PIO. She'll put it on our city website, and it'll provide updated information for our residents just to keep you guys informed of what's going on, if anything is going to be affected in our city. I know certain grids, we have quite a few of them out there. So east side might be turned off and the west side will be on. So that's kind of all our different grids that we have out there. So if you do come across them. And why Zenny's off and McDonald's is on, because they're on a separate grid. So if you guys need all this contact information, we'll have to put it back on for you. Outage information, website, different information, so I'll have them put that on if you need it. The other one is brush fires. We currently pretty much run the same system. Is once we get our bulletins, we'll send it over once again to your command staff to keep them informed over to the PIO. She'll enter all that information. A good way to keep yourself informed is you can go to our city website. A lot of us are using Watch Duty. It's an app. It's free. You can go ahead and use it. It'll tell you exactly fire location, real-time updates, alerts, any nearby wildfires, including evacuation zones, fire perimeters, and the firefighting efforts on that. So it's actually a really good app. So a little bit on the code enforcement side. I'm just going to touch a little quick, little pinch on it. Some of our commercial residents on our signage. It's kind of been a little hot item for us. Signs that are posted on utility poles in our city easements. This type of sign is prohibited. It's not allowed. Cannot get a permit for it. So if you do have any questions or anything regarding signage, banners, A-frame signs, give us a call. We'll gladly provide you that information, tell you what's permitted, what's not permitted for a sign placement, and ways to get your banner permit or anything else that you might need regarding signage. So there you go. And I do have one other thing. We have this information flyer in there, so if you know anybody who is going to do some sidewalk vending or truck food sales, you can use our QR code to provide you the information, get you to our licensing, that nature on that. So at this point, if anybody has any questions. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I just noticed on the way over here this morning, those papers that get thrown out to every resident in my tract, they're like I don't know, it's a little flyer or something. Literally about, I don't know, a third of them are in the middle of the street or in the gutter. I don't know any of my neighbors who says that they open them or use them. Is there something we can do? I mean, I've waved that guy off when he comes through in his van. He's just doing his job, but I mean, it's really just like throwing trash out the window, in my opinion. Some of you folks might like them, that's fine, but I just don't think that's I don't know, it's a pain in the butt in my neighborhood.
I mean, getting them, staff-wise, if I had officers, I'd have one in every neighborhood so I can keep track of, people who are doing illegal, signage or dropping out flyers. Yeah, they're not allowed to do that.
Well, this is the same guy every time in my neighborhood.
Is this somebody putting them on the doorsteps and the door handles? Is that what it is?
No, he's swinging them out he's got I don't know, some kind of little minivan thing of 1980 whatever, and he comes through at breakneck speed and he's just flinging them out the window. So, and it happens all.
They're in the plastic?
Yeah.
Grocery store advertising.
Yeah, and some people might want that. I don't, and my neighbors don't. And I hate to speak for them because they're not here, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a way to opt out of those. I think in the past, when I've heard this addressed, isn't it a freedom of speech issue? So it's a freedom of speech issue. They're publicizing their speech through these advertisements. So legally, they're allowed to do that. If they were dumping them into the middle of the street, that might be a different thing. But they are, that's the one year.
Yeah, well, there was like a particular property that it was either delinquent or nobody was there, and I mean there was literally a pile of those things out front. This guy probably gets paid for throwing them out the window.
If they're there, actually, so say tossing them landing on your car or on your doorstep, then yeah, that's the protective part. Now, if they're going and they miss it, I mean that's littering. You miss your target, you're on the street now.
Yeah, he's welcome to put them in my trash can, but there's no unsubscribe on this guy. You know what I mean? He just comes through.
After I'm done, I'll give you my card. If you can kind of give you more information, kind of where, time, and all that stuff, he's there. This way, or I can get that information. We'll be glad to give him a call and say, hey, you need to find your target right, or you need to stop.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
I have a question. Going back to the homelessness.
Yes.
When you identify a homeless person and then you reach out to the person touch, when they say, well, we don't have a place, have you ever encountered a situation where they tell you that, well, we don't have a space or place for them? And if so, what do you guys do?
So, depending, I mean, I've had that happen in the past, not here in Wildomar, but in this case, we have other resources. Just for instance, if we happen to call Project Touch, our city net has other shelters that they could use and pull from. So we have allotment of certain beds for our city so that we can keep track and manage them. So usually if we happen to overfill our beds, our relationship with city nets, they'll go ahead and say, yeah, we got it. Or they'll reach out to a different shelter and try to accommodate that service. Anyone else? Great. Oh, sure. We got you today.
Well, if you just advance it, they should be next.
Hello. We're all four from the Sheriff's Department, and we're all out of the Elster Station. I'm Officer Baca, Officer Serrato. We work under Sergeant Garcia Villa, and we work under Lieutenant Clark. So collectively, we do community services. We do have another deputy that works with us, but he's on vacation. So we're just going to kind of do an overview of what we do, and we're open for questions, and we'll get started. He kind of covered homelessness, and being unhoused, quote unquote, is not illegal in itself. It's just where they choose to be homeless at, where the issue is. And our station works with CBAP, which is a clinician and a deputy, and they also go out with our SET team and they make contact with them. And they do give them the option of services, housing, if they need a license, like anything like that. If they choose not to get help and they do have the criminal aspect, they have warrants on probation and they're violating that, they'll go to jail. So, so being homeless in itself is not the issue. It's what they choose to do while being unhoused. And like I said, our team, we have a team out of Elsinore that goes out. Wildomar has 2 deputies that go out with them, and there's another team that does it in Elsinore. So both cities are very proactive about this, and they definitely don't want their cities to be inundated with unhoused. We wanted to kind of go over how we respond to calls. A lot of times people will call us and they won't have anybody coming at that time, but yet we'll see 2 deputies at the gas station talking, thinking they needed to respond to their call. But kind of how calls are handled, they're by priority. Priority 4 is a nothing's happening at that time. Say you came home and your outside of your house is vandalized. Is it important? Absolutely. However, it's not as important as a priority 1 with an accident with immediate need, like immediate medical care needed. We're always going to respond to your safety first and the non-suspect crimes. We're going to get there, but maybe not in the time that you need us to get there. You know what I mean? We have to do it by priority. If we were going to go to your house for a vandalism call, but yet this gentleman was just in a major TC, we have to take care of him, and then we'll come to you. Just so you know, that's how calls work. And there's a lot of miscommunication about it, but what we always suggest, come do a ride-along, see what's really happening out there. Everybody's, we do a minimum background to make sure you're good, but you can come do a ride-along graveyard, day shift, swing shift, see what's happening while you're sleeping, to get a really good understanding what your law enforcement deal with every day. A lot of people like to stand on the sidewalk and pass judgment, not really know what we're doing, but we welcome you. Come to our station, see what we're doing. Tour our station. We have open doors. We want to be transparent and let you know what we're doing. And ride-alongs are super fun, interesting, and you just get to see a different side of what's happening. And it's free. Free.
I have a question. We're going back to that last slide.
Oh, wait. I'm going. Oh, wait. What am I doing?
Yeah, reverse.
Oh, I'm hitting the wrong button.
Yeah,
Yes.
going back to the response time.
Yes.
I'm just curious, how regularly are you doing the analytics so that you align the proper priorities to the proper time? So are you doing
Determined by
that
the dispatch.
yearly?
The dispatch center will determine what priority that call is given.
Got it.
And that's how they're dispatched. If we have a deputy going to a priority 4 and a priority 1 came out,
Yeah.
he's going to go to priority 1 and then follow back with a priority 4 call.
Yeah, and it's a set standard process. from
Yes.
there. Okay.
Like the immediate need is always priority 1.
Got it.
Your health and safety will always take precedent over property crime. This isn't personal tips. We always want you to be your own advocate for your safety. Your safety starts in your own backyard, at home, not leaving your purse in your car, locking your car at night, taking your garage door opener into your house every night. It's not uncommon that people leave the extra set of keys to the car next to it in their car, and they leave the car unlocked. Like a lot of these crimes, property crimes are preventable if we just take a little bit more time. We are a society in a rush. We're always in a rush to cook dinner, do this, do that, but it's important that you're your own advocate for your safety. Know what's around you. Don't get out of your car if it doesn't seem safe. You just gotta be more aware. Take your eyes off your phone when you're walking in the parking lot. Take your eyes off your phone when you're driving. Take your eyes off your phone always. When it eliminates your chance of being a crime of opportunity. If you're walking, you have a purse in your hand, and you're looking down, you're a great crime of opportunity because you're not paying attention. So it's super important that you are always your own advocate.
So code enforcement kind of talked about the street vendors to use a QR code if you guys are interested in being a street vendor. They're the one that handle all the licensing. Up there on Upstick and street vendors, those are the main places that we see them in. You do get a lot of calls about them being out there, but that's code enforcement. They're the ones that handle it. So they can go out there and ticket them, or if they throw away their items, or however they handle it. And the reason for it is because the lack of licensing, they don't have running water, it's not really clean like a restaurant. So we really push for them to kind of clean up and move out of the way.
Do they know that those resources are available to them?
Yes, code enforcement does explain all those things to them when they do come in contact.
So when we do go out there, we'll have pamphlets with English and Spanish, so that provide them all directions to become a permitted vendor, and so that all the information is provided to them.
Do you see a lot of high demand for that type of business, or what's the?
I mean, when they're set up, people come and buy it, they're going to stick around. You know, it's just like the fruit guy that comes by. You buy it. If you didn't buy it, guess what? He's going somewhere else. So, in all honesty, that demand is there.
The next thing we want to touch base on is our 602 trespassing. You can pick up one at our station. You can fill it out. It does now need to be notarized for it to be in effect. And it is good for a 1 year period. So every 12 months you do have to renew it. The 602 letter, trespass letter, can improve quality of life issues and can assist law enforcement when you are not present. Individuals must be told to leave the location prior to enforcing the law. It allows law enforcement to detain and discourage loitering. It minimizes burden on employees and owners of property. And post signage stating no trespassing in high traffic areas, so it is visible for, say you have an unhoused individual in front of your store or whatever business you do have. If that's on file, we have legal action on your business behalf. Say you're closed, to go ahead and remove that individual.
So where do you get the letter?
At our station, come into our station in the front office and ask for it. Fill it out, and then it does provide Officer Baca's email on there, and you can email it to her.
You can also get it at City Hall.
Oh, you can?
Yes.
Oh,
And we'll also notarize it.
I know it's not too great, but here's a copy of what it looks like. And this last page would be where the notary takes place.
And just one thing, make sure it's legible, because numerous people, when we get it, we send it up to dispatch. So when we get a call for service, there's notice that there is a dispatch letter on file for that address. So it's super important that it's legible, so the right address is tagged for your request to have a trespass order to your property.
So if you have someone coming on your private, no trespass property, you can't come in?
Yes.
For the 602 letters, does it have to be so like it's a commercial place? Does it have to be the owner that does it, or can like the property manager fill it out? Or
The property manager can fill it out. As long as you have authorization from the owner to do those.
On the 602 letter, it does need to be notarized, and for our Wildomar residents, commercial residents that have this unit residence, we have to need it. You can come into City Hall, we'll notarize that for free as far as our service for you to get that going for us. So if you fill that out and you need to notarize, if you didn't come to City Hall, then you always have to pay for out of pocket. If you come into City Hall, we'll take care of that for you.
Next will be our patrol set. So several deputies are assigned to patrol investigation set and our traffic team. Patrol deputies are our front line of contact and handle calls for service and do the initial reports. So, for example, as soon as you call in and a deputy is in your house, that deputy is assigned to Wildomar for you. If it's a furthermore investigation, it will go to a certain investigator at our station. Or furthermore, it can be sent to one of our set deputies that are assigned to Wildomar as well. Investigations and set handle our follow-up and complex investigations. Set conducts undercover work up cases to author warrants for in-depth investigations. Depending on the needs, set can make the appropriate call to other departments as needed. So if they need help from code enforcement for any reason, they'll contact them and they'll come out as well. Again, do ride along and you can experience some of these things. You can see what goes on in your city. I know social media is a big thing right now. So you'll see a bunch of stuff on, do you guys have What's Up Wildomar, or is it Lake Elsinore? I see a lot of things on there and it's completely different than what is being shown on the internet.
So, Prop 36 was voted on this last election year in November. It was passed, thankfully. It gave us more tools. Actually, the tools that we had before Prop 47 was passed, and now it's back in Prop 36. So it's a great thing that most of the residents agreed upon. What allows us felony charges for existing crimes and longer sentencing on crimes that previously were continuous or repetitive, like thefts and so on and so forth. But now we can charge with felonies and longer sentencing. So it's a great thing that actually works for the betterment of community. So in the gist, it's not a law or a legal class. So the gist Prop 36 is on board now, and we're affecting arrest and actually applying it. So as I mentioned, it passed last fall, and it went in effect December 18, 2024. Now felony charges increased sentencing for certain drugs and thefts. And it's to address rampant theft and drug trafficking, trafficking penalties for fentanyl and drug traffickers, and holding repeat offenders accountable. All right, we're open for any questions if you guys have any further questions.
How does one sign up for the ride-along?
If you just give me your name and your email address, I'll just email it to you. You can do it all through email.
Okay.
Once you're approved, I'll call you and we'll figure out what date and what shift you want.
Cool.
It's really fun.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, fun. It is. It's a
Are the ride-alongs just during the day or evenings or
24 hours a
anytime?
day, whatever you want.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, I used to do ride-alongs.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify too that we do have legal street vendors in Wildomar. And the state of California mandates that we do allow them to be street vendors as long as they follow our ordinance laws and are compliant with the laws. So when you scan that QR code, it will take you to a page on our website where we have about 10, John? Legal, about 10-ish, yeah. Legal street vendors right now. They are named by name, the name of the company and the location of where they can be found in Wildomar. And why that's important is because that means that we've already vetted them through the process. We've checked their health department certificates. They are as viable as any other brick and mortar out there as far as a business is concerned. They have all of their ducks in a row, if you will. So we do want you to patronize those businesses because those are Wildomar businesses. But we want you to be very careful to make sure that you're patronizing a legal street vendor, because if Raul and the code enforcement team showed you some of the things that they've come across for the illegal street vendors, you would not be very happy. So just make sure that they're part of the legal list that we have on our website, and that's that QR code that you can scan in.
Oh, do they have a sign?
Well, we have asked them to put that as a sign on their thing, but getting them to actually do that has been a bit of a challenge. But you can always go to our our website just from your cell phone, even while you're just standing there in line waiting for your taco or whatever it is, your coffee or whatever. We have a lot of different street vendors that provide a lot of different types of products and services out there. So, and a lot of them are really good businesses that want to do really good things in our community. So I just wanted to make that clear that not all the street vendors out there are illegal, but we've been working between code and economic development and our sheriff's department, working to make sure that the ones that are legal and the ones that we want you to patronize are the ones that have cleared the process, and we've checked their health department certificates and all of that, because it is really important.
I'll also like to add that along with all the vetting and the licensing, the Sheriff's Department and the SET team, along with code enforcement, teams up with the health department on operations to conduct inspections, because these businesses or these vendors are normally operating in the after hours. And usually when you run a normal business 10 a.m. till midnight, whatever, you have open doors or whatever, and the health department can come in. However, because they're street vendors, the health department also takes part of that, so they'll bring along, they conduct an operation, and they go out together and make sure that they're following the standards of the health department. So they check for licensing, they make sure that they're licensed. If they're not, then they proceed with, citations and stuff like that, removing the products that they're not licensed by the city.
Is there a reason why a food vendor doesn't want to go through the process? Is there money?
Time and money.
Yeah.
There is some guidelines that they do have to follow on what they're, cleanliness, hand clean, hand washing. They have to use a restroom. If they're out there, there's no restroom, there's no place to wash their hands, and they're handling your food. That might be one of the other items. So, money, financial wise, they won't pass health department guidelines because they don't have the proper, tools to work with.
I know, I get all. Any other questions? Any questions about Wildomar in general or other than what we discussed?
I have a question. So I noticed some trees being cut down over by the cemetery. Are those gonna get replanted? Because it was just such a staple. I just wanted to change the entire landscape over there. I know there's some improvements and that was great, but I didn't really think about the trees being gone.
Absolutely.
I can speak to that. So that's part of our Palomar widening project and cemetery improvement project. Those trees in particular aren't going to be replanted, but we are landscaping the entire frontage of the cemetery all along Gruwell and on Palomar. So there will be street trees and landscaping along the outside of the cemetery. Probably you won't see anything that tall or as big as what's out there, but yeah, that project started construction this week.
No, I knew that. I just didn't know if the trees were going to go.
Yeah.
I go over them.
And the reason for that is because we're moving the wall inward a little bit so that we could widen the road.
Gotcha. Adam, did you want to say something?
Well, just so they'll get see.
Oh, sure, go ahead.
Hi, Adam Eventov, Public Affairs for SoCal Gas. If you see or smell or hear anything like, if you hear a hissing, you see some damage, or you smell gas, you can call 800-427-2200. That's our all-purpose hotline. Everybody should have that in their phone. Again, 800-427-2200. Or you can always just go to SoCalGas.com. If there's a lot of gas, call 911. They'll contact us, and we'll both get out there to respond in case there's an emergency.
And I'll say I thought I had a gas leak yesterday at my house, called that number, the tech came out within about 30 minutes, checked everything for me, even turned off all of my appliances and made sure at the meter that nothing was running to ensure that there was no leak anywhere on my property. So for peace of mind, they'll just come out and do that for no cost, so take advantage of that. I was very impressed, very, very professional service, and well worth the peace of mind.
I have a comment. Just a comment on new lights, new stop signs that we've seen in the city, and just an encouragement to our Wildomar residents to have some patience, because as we see that there's like a new light on Palomar, I think it was like last week I had heard of a pretty bad traffic collision, and I live myself on Wildomar Trail on Grand near a traffic light. And I know what people often try to beat the light. I hear it every night in the morning. It's yellow light. You hear the car gunning it, and it's unfortunate because these are a lot of residential homes that live near these street lights as well. So again, just want to make a comment to encourage people to be a little more patient, to be mindful of what their surroundings are, because Wildomar isn't one of those cities where we're flying through, there's a bunch of highways and all that stuff, so I think everybody should be mindful and consider that. In addition, there are a bunch of schools integrated within our residents, so again, that's another thing that I really encourage people to just be mindful of your surroundings and the new developments that are happening around the city.
Thank you, I appreciate that. Any other questions? Going once, going twice? Okay, so just to wrap up, I saw a few people that I wanted to make sure that I recognize are here. Adam, who just gave us a SoCal Gas Minute, thank you.
Yes.
And then, just while we're talking about it, you give a minute, maybe it would be interesting to hear about the dig alerts, like don't dig.
Oh, yeah. Before you start a project, or if you have a contractor or a cable company, before they start a project, make sure they pull a underground service assessment or USA ticket. In other words, call 811. It can save a life.
So call 811 before you go dig in too much, because you don't know what is under your dirt, and if you dig into a gas line, for example, then you could have an explosion, and that has happened in Marietta.
So when you call 811, if you're going to dig something, you call 811, do they give you like a map of what's...
Yes.
What will happen is someone will come out, they will actually assess what you have, they'll have a sniffer, they'll have a machine that'll actually see where lines are. There's usually a little wire around the line so that they can actually detect the line. And then they will put little flags along the line, and then whoever's doing the digging or doing any project will avoid those areas, hopefully.
Right.
Hopefully, not always. Hopefully. And then that way it's also on record. If you don't do this and you dig into our lines, there are laws that will assess fines, pretty hefty ones now, as a result of the Marietta incident.
Is there a cost to have somebody come out?
For you.
I believe there's also an app as well. I have the Dig Alert app, so you can also download the app and then submit a ticket through that app.
Just call me.
Some people, they like it.
So thank you for that, Adam. And I also wanted to recognize Jay. He's the chairman of the Marietta Wildomar Chamber. We also, I failed to recognize Lieutenant Clark here today. He brought his team. Thank you, Lieutenant Clark. And then for her first visit here, I copied with the city of Veronica with the probation department. And we have Pat from the Wildomar Historical Society. And I really hope that I didn't miss anybody. And then also, thanks again to RSO for being here. And then Officer Baca is a tremendous resource, and at a lot of our park events and runs Neighborhood Watch. She wears a lot of hats and does a great job in our community, as does Officer Serrato. They're a great duo, good team, and I think this is my first time meeting Officer. Yeah, thanks for being here. So yeah, thank you to Code and to RSO for the great updates this morning. Happy Valentine's Day. I'm sure everybody is very excited. Looking forward to that. All right, I think we need to talk afterwards. There's a lot of activity. Okay, so thanks everybody for being here, and we'll see you next month.